You know, I understand that everyone's experience with the game was different. Not everyone's skill level is the same, so it's not only normal if certain parts of the game make you struggle, it is also okay and there's nothing wrong with it. However, what I'm not a big fan of is thinking that you fail at certain situations because there's something wrong with the game and actually blaming it instead of your own lack of skill and knowledge. This particular Banished Knight here is a great example of it, and I was made aware that was the case due to recent Twitter interactions I had with some unpleasant specimens, which drove me to do a bit of research as well, and turns out Reddit really hates this guy as well, even as far as calling him terribly designed. So I wanted to yap about that, and trust me, it gets pretty funny. But first of all, what about this Banished Knight? I stumbled upon a Twitter post that mentioned the Elden Ringification of games, as in making enemies dumber and bosses flashier, as they put it. One Twitter user replied with the caption, "Regular enemy encounter, by the way," and had this video attached. Implying this guy here was the counterexample to the previous claim. See, this one is difficult. It's very hard. Now, I'm not trying to imply this random Twitter guy was right about the whole Elden Ringification thing. That sounds a bit dumb in my opinion. But I do want to point out why this guy is also mistaken. People like to call this Banished Knight Oleg, like the spirit summon. So we're gonna call him Frank. Frank can be found in Castle Sol, and just like all the other Banished Knights in the area, he's spectral, meaning that he teleports and is immune to nearly all status effects. The difference is that this one is particularly tougher than the rest, as in he has more HP than normal, around 3500 I think, and has the dual greatsword moveset, which can be confusing to some people. The main gimmick though is that he teleports behind you as soon as you approach him and starts beating the shit out of you with his 8-hit combo. He can actually startle you the first time and catch you really off guard, so dying to him the first time is normal, just like any other spectral Banished Knight. But after the first time, yeah, boy, you're already aware of the gimmick, and you can even take advantage of it because he always does the combo after the nothing personal teleport. Just dodge into him or strafe him and that's it. But no, Redditors had to complain. But I have a complaint too. Why are Steam games so goddamn expensive? How is someone allergic to work like me supposed to get my hands on Resident Evil Requiem and go binocular on Leon's ass with these prices? And if you think the same as me, we know it sucks. But luckily, I wouldn't worry if I were you, gordito tetoncito, because Instant Gaming has got you covered. You know the deal by now. Instant Gaming is the website to buy games, game cards, and subscriptions on big discounts for any platform of your liking. Perfect for your unemployment situation. Leon's ass is now within your grasp. You could purchase big titles like Resident Evil Requiem, or if that's still a bit out of your range, you could look for $2 wonders that will hit you harder than any winning session. Like always, my biggest recommendation is Tormented Souls, one of the greatest Silent Hill-like experiences of all time. Or if you have a bit more spare change, Final Fantasy X is an absolute must. I mean, that's obvious, I use its music all the time. Game availability and prices change daily, so be sure to check Instant Gaming every day to find new entertainment for your rotting sumer attention span brain. And of course, by clicking our link in the description below and creating an account, you can participate in our monthly free giveaway to win anything of your liking. No purchases necessary. So waste not any more precious nanoseconds and click that juicy link in the description below to instant all over the gaming. Do it right now. Thanks again to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. The Banished Knights at Castle Sol are horseshit. Unpredictable teleporting, playing as a mage with mostly ranged spells, this is bullshit. I'm charging up a spell with the guy 300 feet away from me. He does a teleport and is right up in my ass. Of course I can't roll out of the spell I started casting, so now I just have to sit here and watch as he slams his sword through me. Honestly, I think these enemies are a bit terribly designed. Putting it lightly, but cheeseheads and elitists on this subreddit will find a way to defend them. I can already feel my blood starting to fucking boil, god fucking damn it. These guys are complete bullshit. LOL, found a few enemies so far that I know for sure the depths didn't playtest. It's actually insta-kill if it hits you, which is wild. LOL. Here's me surviving the full combo, by the way. I guess these people didn't level bigger. You don't even have to stand still like this. You can actually just dodge in between the attacks and escape it, providing you dodge correctly and not like a goober. It's my second playthrough now and it's still indefensible. It's straight up terrible design. Anyone who says otherwise will literally defend anything, because you feel like you're playing something that never actually got tested or something is bad. Holy fucking shit, have you tried hitting him with a heavy weapon? Do you really think that was difficult to do? Okay. Let me simmer down. The reason this guy is so difficult is because it's a deadly knowledge check. Banished Knights all across the game are susceptible to high poise damage weapons. The ones you find in Stormvale can be dealt with in the same exact way. You get a head weapon and you stun lock them to death. In the Twitter video used to point at Frank as an example of a difficult enemy, the guy was using Bloodhound's Fang. The only issue is that he fell for the nothing personal kid gimmick and died because he started panic rolling. But had he not missed the attack, he would have stun locked the Banished Knight and the subsequent light attack mashing would have stun-locked Frank to death. As easy as that. You don't even need to be aware that all Banished Knights are weak to this. Most Elden Ring gamers carry a big bomb with them anyways. And don't fucking deny this, because we all know the stupid big bonk meme that goes around. Gax and Bloodhound's Fang are two of the most commonly used weapons in the game, and every Kevin is going to try to deal with Frank the same way they deal with everything else. Mashing R1 like a monkey having a seizure and hoping for the best. And you know what? It works perfectly fine, because Frank is just that stupidly easy to kill. The problem, like I mentioned, is that these gamers lack the knowledge on how to deal with Banished Knights. They are operating on the basis that if their strategy didn't work for them on the first try, then there must be something wrong or cheap with the guy.
This guy fucking sucks.
Or they make incredibly wrong assumptions about it, like this guy for example. They are pretty rough. Carrion Slicer might be your best bet, rushing them down before they outpoise you. Anything with rapid attacks while you dodge to mid-range. Since you can't really stun them, your best bet is kiting.
Except that isn't true.
Listen here, you can stun Banished Knights with many things, and we are not talking about extremely obscure strategies or super niche weapons. The most used weapons and strats get the job done super fast. That's why when this guy said, regular enemy by the way, I responded with, I don't understand. What's wrong with him? And attach this video. Notice how these are all stuff anyone would use on a normal playthrough. Colossal weapon crouch poke, barricade shield and guard counters with the most basic axe in the game, and using endure plus bolas with charge attacks. Did any of that seem like voodoo magic to you? Even within mage builds, there are spells that can absolutely pulverize Banished Knights. Gavel of Haima, Carrion Greatsword, Carrion Piercer, and of course, although it's not a spell, Moonveil. All very commonly used options that absolutely destroy this guy. And I don't think I need to remind people that Ashes of War are not tied to stats. Right? Like, an intelligence build can easily use Lion's Claw on a magic Zweihander, which requires very low base stats, and still cheese the fuck out of Frank. But of course, like I said, gamers don't know this information, and when presented with said information, sometimes their answer is either denial or coping. The only way to get this footage is to die 100 times to him to figure out what works. I mean, I don't know if it's that great to out yourself as a goober who spent 10 hours to learn what many people probably learn in 2 seconds, but alright. Big Sword does Big Oomph is a technique that requires 100 deaths by Banished Knight to acquire. 90% of the attacks of heavy weapons are too slow to stun lock the guy, or the weapon isn't heavy enough to stun in the first place. If you actually knew anything about the game, Dios, voy a romper todo, juro por Dios que voy a romper todo y joder la grandísima, you would know that Crouch Poke is notorious for being usually fast for its weapon class. But go off. Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't fucking need the Crouch Poke. Colossal Swords are literally the slowest heavy-hitting weapons in the game, and they're still stun-locking Frank to death. Anything below may have tier 2 hit stun, but they are still fast enough to stun the guy. And once again, there's nothing wrong with not knowing these things, which you probably should know by the time you get to Castle Sol anyways. Not everyone knows everything, and that's okay. But talking out of your ass without knowing jack shit and accusing other people of not knowing anything about the game just makes you look like an insufferable glue sniffer. In fact, I retweeted him. Here's me using the never-before-used by newbie players strat of mindlessly mashing the attack button with a big bonk against the impossible-to-beat in less than 100 tries Banished Knight. He, of course, never replied. But we do have another goober. Not a big fan of optimized stun locking scripting, to be fair, whatever the fuck he means by scripting. I like to give enemies bosses a chance to properly understand their moveset and beat them as intended myself. Though I don't really care if that's how others play, obviously. And I mean, that's a weird take, but alright, I guess. Su mambo, so that's fine. But then comes this dork. These N-words act dense like it somehow is a more impressive show of skill to exploit the patterns in a boss's AI and optimize your build so you don't have to learn to dodge attack patterns. I mean, it cannot be Twitter without someone completely misunderstanding your point, right? The whole waffles and pancakes meme. My post was only to showcase that the guy is actually very easy to beat. Anything else is practically nerfing yourself for the sake of it. But I humored this goober. I retweeted him saying, "Where are we moving the goalpost next, Chief?" And then proceeded to beat the absolute crap out of Frank in the skilled way. There really is no point in doing this. Like I said, you only do this if you want to nerf yourself, because any build can use the tools to easily deal with Frank. But whatever, here's your clip. Now fuck off. You annoy me. However, here comes another person in denial. Your arrogance never ceases to amaze me. You have dedicated your life to this game. All your content revolves solely around this game. Look at me with my 10k hours on Elden Ring. I have no trouble beating trash mobs. Look how good I am. I don't think I need to explain you don't need to have 10k hours in the game to easily beat this guy, right? Like, I literally told him, a DP bird pressing R1 with a colossal sword can beat this guy, as I have demonstrated previously. Never mind that the tweet was in response to someone who was basically accusing me of only cheesing enemies. Bro just wanted to hate. He just wanted to hate. But not only goobers manifested in this thread, other people understood the vibe and memed around. Like this guy, who said, "Only use a torch, you filthy casual." To which I said, "Aight." Not gonna lie, it took me a few tries to no-hit him because I always got a bit greedy. Torch is so ass, you can only get a few hits every now and then. Trying to attack during specific circumstances will guarantee you take damage. But yeah, after a few tries, he went down. The thing was getting so ridiculous, it spawned a few memes, like, "Banished Knight, I got another Twitter post. It's time for your dick flattening. Yes, OnlyWaifu." God, I love these people. Another one says, "Alright, new challenge. Use a bow." To which I said, "Aight." Nothing really significant to point out here. You keep your distance, so it's really easy to not get hit. But then someone comes in with a real challenge, whether it was ironic or not. Doing it without dodging blocking is the real challenge. To which I said, "Aight." This one was particularly tricky because Frank's arena is a bit too tight. And if you get caught by his spinny tornado of doom in a close environment, you are guaranteed to take damage. So I had to take the fight somewhere else, below the castle. And it was quite simple. Equip the cap ring, jump down, strafe Frank, and use the open field to your advantage to punish the easily punishable attacks. Trying to attack during his less recovery-heavy attacks will guarantee you get hit. So I just played it safe and did it this way. It took a while, but Frank went down. All of these goalposts moving were clearly a meme, but I was enjoying the fuck out of it. So then the next one comes, unsurprisingly increasing the bet. Now do it with only rolling damage armor. To which, of course, I responded, "Aight." During this fight, trying to no-hit him as much as possible, I realized that his backswing is pretty weird, because it sometimes feels delayed, but sometimes it feels like it connects super early. Not really an issue when you're fighting him normally, but when you're doing these dumb challenges, you start noticing these things. And I bet some goobers will use this as an excuse to claim that Frank is poorly designed. I really tried to no-hit him, but I honestly didn't feel like restarting every time. I am autistic, but not that much. So yeah, Frank eventually goes down. And with that, we're finished, right? I mean, there's nowhere else to move the goalpost. Only that he didn't specify by saying, use your fists. So I did kill Frank without weapons. Technically, at least. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There were other unhinged, idiotic comments, like this one right here, which feel more like some weird schizos rants, but you already know how Twitter is. It's a fucking cesspool. In short, stop blaming the game, think outside the box for 2 seconds, and stop being a goober. That's about it. See ya.